YouTube. How y'all doing? Y'all enjoying that deep freeze in the southeast and the eastern Midwest? I'm not. So I thought I'd do a quick update. All right. So I went to what I consider a volatile market with the airboard. Schneider's airboard, when you go down to Texas, it can be very volatile and it can be very rewarding. It's a luck of the draw. I had a load booked out of there when I went in there, and I was dodging the weather. And then the load I was going to get, it was supposed to be a relay. It wasn't even there. The guy wasn't coming for another 2 or 3 days. They had the dates wrong. I had him pull the load. After I had him pull the load, there was nothing even worth it. I mean, you either get great rates or you get nothing for whatever's in Texas. It's kind of like Florida. Whenever you get in South Texas, it's just like Florida here. So be wary of that. But I did so good going down there, it didn't hurt me too much. So I sat a day and a half trying to find something. So I started this week that I'm currently working on now, on Sunday technically. Because I picked up a load in Laredo, roughly 150 miles from San Antonio, where I reset. There's a truck-friendly Walmart there off of, I don't remember, what was it, the 401 loop or whatever it is. But anyway, they actually have truck parking spots painted. So if you need to take hours and you're near San Antonio and you need grocery shopping, that's where I recommend you go. You'll have to figure that out yourself, which one, because I don't write down addresses of Walmarts. So I picked up Laredo on the afternoon of Sunday. And then I drove all the way to Michigan, which is supposed to deliver in Belleville, Michigan, to Costco. Problem was, the window was all the way out to the 28th, and it was a hard appointment, 28th at 11 a.m., live unload at Costco. I don't know why it's not a drop and hook. I thought we did some drop and hooks there, but basically it was a live unload, and it is they do grocery and stuff. That's what I had. So there probably have been lumper stuff. I'm not sure if Costco has that or not, but nobody likes it. So anyway, lumpers, that is. So I had them relay the load on purpose to the Woodhaven yard. So I didn't have to sit on it till the 28th, right? Makes sense to me, but it got me out of that garbage market. It wasn't even the best rate, but I still made a good knot in my pocket for this week. So here's what I decided to do this week. I've been out here for a couple weeks. After Woodhaven, I deadheaded to Milan, Michigan, picked up a load, and I went to Marion, Ohio, headed down 23 to Columbus, and I stopped at the rest area in Marion, or outside of Marion. There's big silos over there, and I took hours. When I woke up on Wednesday, I finished my trek to Columbus, and I delivered. I met my buddy, Tufford, Rolling with Tuff on here, and we both booked the same load that picked up in Vandalia. If you're with Schneider already, you know that customer. It's a big one, and they pay really well usually. Anyway, we went from Vandalia, both of us, to Morehead, Kentucky. And in Morehead, Kentucky, we dropped and hooked at a customer late. We were both on the hours, so we just stopped right there in the cul-de-sac near the customer and took hours. And then the bottom fell out, and it was snowing, and guys were pulling past us and getting to the cul-de-sac, and some person that basically doesn't care about anybody but themselves, they parked in the cul-de-sac so nobody could, once you got down there, you had to turn around. So these guys were backing up. We tried to warn them, but they had to back all the way up to the customer's lot, which is a quarter mile away, and then turn around and then back all the way back in there. I would have probably just laid on my air horn or beat on that dude's door instead of backing all the way up out that road when you can't see with the snow. But they didn't do that. Matter of fact, we watched a Western Express guy do the absolute dumbest thing you could do. It was like watching the Challenger disaster. This guy deciding to do a U-turn in a bobtail behind my buddy Tuff. He didn't give himself enough room. And this road is literally, 13 foot, 14 foot wide. And this clown is trying to walk that truck with all that air guard stuff on his drive tires. Every bit of that saddle bagging on the side of the road. He sandbagged himself. If it wasn't for an old man, he was an older driver. I don't mean old. But he got out to help the guy and whatever. And I would have, but I was already down to my tits and shorts. And unless somebody asked for my help, I'm not going to get boots on and get my, my ski park on and stuff and go out there and be like, you need some help, bud? I don't mind snow and stuff, but Tufford should have done that because he's from Wisconsin. So anyway, we took hours in Morehead. This is Wednesday night coming into Thursday morning. Thursday morning, Tub and I went our separate ways. He headed westbound on 64. I headed eastbound on 64 and basically went through Ashland and up, crossed the river, Ironton, all the way up to Baltimore, which is southeast of Columbus on 33, near Lancaster. So I went out there and picked up, and then I drove home. Because on the way to this delivery, the house is right there. So I stopped and I spent the night. It was only a 300-mile day, and so it didn't bother me. So it's a very short day. So we've gone from Sunday to Thursday. And I could have, if they would have had the appointment here, I could have delivered yesterday. But the appointment was this morning. So I just took hours, got up early this morning. Roads were fine. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cold, but they had salted really good. My truck looks like it's just been driven through freaking overspray from a primer job on some big piece of equipment. That's how much salt's on it. But, you know, went from Baltimore to the house, Baltimore, Ohio. And I just delivered this morning here in Pulaski, Virginia. And then I'm going home. So this would have been one more day instead of two. And I got to sleep in my own bed last night, see my wife and the kids, and it's been a while coming. So when I look at all that, if you combine Thursday and Friday, since I slept in my own bed last night, that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's a 5-day work week, correct? I mean, if you count today as a separate day, it's a 6-day work week, whatever. But if you're crunching hours and shifts, and I could have delivered, and I booked this one on purpose because it got me through the house with a load and padded my income. So I'm going to call it 5 days. That's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then delivering today. All shifts considered, that's 5 days. That's $5,294.51, guys, in 5 days. So I'm averaging $1,050 this week. It's not my best week. It's not been the best week for Tough either. We've both had a couple of weeks where we weren't heroes, but you can't be a hero every week anyway. Some weeks, you know, some weeks you're going to have a week where you're like, man, I missed my goal by $2,000. And then the next week you're going to be $2,000 ahead because of when the loads fell. You know, if it's not turned in by Monday midnight and it rolls over to Tuesday 0001, then that's going on the next settlement. So, you know, you might not get a load done, or the customer might be like, you know, we're going to have to push to tomorrow. Whatever the case may be, a relay that didn't show up on time, you can't make it, you run out of hours because of a wreck, whatever the case may be. You might not deliver that load till Tuesday, but you're already getting jump started on the next week. But now what happens if, you know, the load on the end of the next week does the same thing? You got to get into a position mentally and in your bank account that you don't have to go week to week anymore. You got to build yourself up to where you don't have to do that. So now I had 2 weeks like that in a row where the load at the end of the week was a great paying load, a good chunk of money, but it rolled to the next week. And then because I did that, the next week, the load at the end that paid good there went to the next week. And that is what happened with Laredo, obviously, with that big load on this one, or on the last one. So now it's going to go on this week's with all these. And that's how I got to $5,294 and change. Now, if I stayed out the next 2 days, I could probably hit 7. But I'm on home. But here's the good thing about all of that. I got that load booked next Wednesday, so I'm not going to have a no-check week. Everything's spread out so that I'm making money every week in January. And that's what you got to do, is get yourself in a position where you can have a few weeks that are undershot. And then February's probably going to be slow too. And then March is going to get stupid. The rates are good, but the loads that you're used to seeing on the board, at least me right now, they're not all there anymore. Or there's not as many multiples as there has been. But that's to be expected. Things are going to change, and you have to be, I've said it a lot, malleable. You got to be able to change and get outside your comfort zone. Stop that, oh, I don't go to New York City. Well, nobody goes to New York City. What do you think, you'll drive through Times Square with a pumpkin box? Go around 287, the Tappan Zee, now it's the Cuomo Bridge, whatever. Go to Maine, as long as the weather allows you to do it. Pay some tolls on the throughways. I know that proposition sucks, but you go where the money is. If you want to stay, if the wheelhouse for you is the Midwest, you can absolutely stay there. The things about the Midwest I like is the money you can make. The bad things that I dislike immensely about the Midwest is lines at shippers and receivers, if it happens to be a live unload or a live load. The parking lots at any truck stop you're going to stay at, always full by 3 p.m. So you are dictated, the way you run is dictated by how those guys run. Okay? And everything's just dirty. But the people are generally pretty good. I don't like driving in the Midwest because the Buckeye State's horrible anyway, as far as drivers are concerned. No offense to my Ohio friends. But you know what I'm talking about. The four-wheelers in Ohio, by and large, are heat-seeking missiles, or they got magnets in them because they like to stick together, and, you know. But, and in Chicago, if you like Chicago, have fun. You can have it. But, I mean, I go in Chicagoland and make deliveries and pickups. There's money there. But that doesn't mean I have to like it. I do like running in my buddy tough state of Wisconsin. I love it. I think once you get past Milwaukee and stuff, they got great roads. It's wide open. Quick Trip's got the cheapest fuel as far as a big chain that we use with a Schneider fuel card or my personal money, whatever. And then, but there's a lot of mom and pops up there that you can buy cheap DEF and cheap diesel and on that mud flap. So, and I like running up there. I don't really care for Minnesota, but Wisconsin also takes care of the roads pretty good down in the southern half. So I like running over that way. I don't mind running Iowa as long as the wind is not kicking at your face. If you got a tailwind, I'll take it all day. You know, I mean, I like running in Missouri. My favorite right now, probably this time of year, would probably be Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and some Arkansas, places like that. I mean, obviously, if you get snow down there, it's going to suck, but that's usually flat, easy driving, maybe some Alabama hills, but flat, easy driving. There's not a lot of people where I run, you know, on the roads most of the time. I don't really mess with New Orleans or anything like that. Nolans, but, you know, because it's hard to get down there here. But you can get across 12, you know, across and then hit 10 again and go into Texas. I love driving in Texas. It's easy. It's boring, but it's very easy, and it's a lot of miles. If the money was there with Schneider, I would run across the desert, and then I'd come back across the middle, and then I'd go back out across the north, if the weather permitted it. But having said that, things are still going good. I'm not knocking it out of the park so far in January, but nor am I aiming to. My next goal, like I said, is to get my tags and down the road. But I can still answer questions while I'm here about Schneider. I don't know what's going to change once I'm gone. But I don't have a date set of when I'm gone yet. And I'm not leaving for any bad reason. I would still recommend this place for starting your business. If it makes more sense to you to own a decent used truck and you don't care to make $1.17 per mile and still pay for all the fuel, still pay all the bills, still pay for your tags through that company, you can go to places like Rising or Brothers or whatever. I know a lot of guys go to Prime. I don't like Prime. And I'll tell you a simple reason I don't like Prime. Because I hadn't been over the road since 2007. And I called Schneider because the work had just petered out at home. And I was in LTL for a long time. I was home every day. And that's overrated in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. Being home every day is not overrated. But the BS you deal with those operations, you know, you think micromanagement is bad anywhere else. People always ask me about micromanagement here. There's been a few guys make comments in the past about how they micromanage here. Dude, by and large, if I'm not having problems, I'm not wrecking, I'm not speeding, and I'm not having anybody call my trailer or tractor numbers out because I cut them off or was acting stupid, I'm not driving through Schneider properties on my phone or anything like that. You're not doing anything stupid, you're not going to hear nothing. If you're not missing appointments, you're not going to hear nothing. There's no micro management. There are things that irritate you, like booking loads. Their computer kind of looks ahead based on the hours you have left, and it averages everything out at whatever speed they think you should travel to do it, and therefore, even though you know you can do a pickup on a load, it won't let you book the load because of things like that. So run hard, get ahead of that clock, and then you can do whatever you want. That's not really, I mean, that's a computer type algorithm that makes sure you're not going to be late to a pickup because they don't want it to lose customers, especially contract freight, to crap like that. So, having said that, get you a radio too. I know it's stupid and it's outdated to a lot of people, and you don't want to hear they ain't got no panties on, shut up stupid, all that stuff. Get a radio. Communicate with each other, especially with the weather. We're going to probably get more. But yeah, make sure you got good tires, get a radio, And come on over, man. I'm telling you, if you're going to start somewhere, this is a load board style, so you're already learning how to dispatch yourself. You get to control your money and what region you're running in. If you're willing to take less money per mile, you can run in the South or Texas or whatever and run, make less money. Typically, you can still make great money there. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you'll find some great rates that go clear across the country out there. But, you can kind of pick. It's like, can I do a little bit less money, stay out of the weather, and run my butt off and make better money? Or am I going to stay, in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and have to shut down, because I'm hitting my 11 and I'm only going 400 miles a day, or 350 miles a day because of ice, snow, wind, whatever. Lake effect in Michigan. All those kind of problems. So you have a lot more control on where you run and how often you run there and how hard you want to go. Most of these places you can go home as long as you want anyway, as long as you cover your bills. So home time shouldn't be an issue. You can pick that out yourself. My buddy Tuff, again, I keep quoting him in this video, he lives way up in rural Wisconsin. There ain't nothing that passes through his house. So he usually has to deal with Green Bay, or if he could get a bundle, or if he could get, western Wisconsin and get as close as he can to the house. Sometimes he's got a deadhead over 220 miles. That's what you got to do to go home. But he goes home every 2 weeks, sometimes 3, because he's trying to buy his truck like I bought mine. He's in the same boat. He's about 4 months behind me. So he's getting there too. We're both going to pretty much have the same story before it's over with. So Prime said that I did not have enough years over the road recently to do it. And I told him, I've been driving for 17 years. I'm pretty sure I got close to 2 million miles. I can't say they're all accident-free because I've had an accident in the past. But regardless, I got that much experience. The accident was far enough ago. It ain't no big deal. I got a clean MVR, got a clean PSP. I don't know nothing about a DAC, so I imagine I'm not on it if I don't know nothing about it. And they still wouldn't take me because I didn't have 2 over the road in the last 3 years. Dude, you got clowns been out here 6, 7 years, and they're just about wearing out a clutch in an automatic backing into a straight back dock. Okay? I'm not saying I'm the world's best at anything. None of us are. But Lord have mercy, man. I can get the job done safely. And you got this clown here. Oh, he's been out on the road for 5 years. And I'm just like, I got as many miles as he does backing up. So I didn't go with Prime for that very reason. I'm not saying they're bad all around, but that was stupid. That metric, to me, was stupid. For some reason, they don't think it is. But Risinger Brothers was another one. They wanted to pay me that flat rate per mile, but after 1 year, you're supposed to be able to give them $1 and own the truck. And it's a Volvo. I don't know what year, but I didn't like not having that control over my money, and I wanted to learn the business. If you're just going over the road and getting a dispatcher, you're just paying the bills, and you're still a company driver, the way it sounded to me. There were several other little deals that I thought about doing. I thought about going OTR or somebody, another leasing company and third party, and off to Landstar. And I was like, you know what? Schneider's going to make a lot of money off me if I run hard and I'm smart about this, which I ended up being, luckily. And by God's good grace, definitely. Schneider keeps 35%. They also got lease money to their SFI, same, under the same umbrella. It's all Schneider owned. So if they're getting, let's say, $650 a week from you, plus they're taking 35% of all the revenue, I mean, Lord have mercy, they're banking money. But here's the way you got to look at that. You're paying dues, okay? That's mainly all that shit you're paying. That's paying dues. That is paying your dues, and you're going to make, if you run good and you pick good loads, you're going to make the best money you ever made in your life. For the average Joe. Unless you were a doctor and you're like, I'm switching careers, I'm tired of working on overweight ladies that have shellfish allergies, So I would recommend Schneider again. And I want to leave on good terms when the time comes, so that if something, God forbid, happens and I have to come back and lease on with someone, I have a place to go. So if you want to build your business, this is a good first step. I've said it in many videos. I've told you how much money I can make. I think January's looking about like, if I had to guess with January's revenue is going to be around $23,000 on current trends. But I'm going home this week, so I'm probably going to drop just about 19 or 20 for January. And then February's probably going to look much the same. And then March is when I look for it to pick up. I'm not in a hurry. I don't need to kill anymore because I own my truck. I can run 600 or 700 miles less in a week, as long as I pick great rates, and my take-home money is going to be just as much as Tufts. So I don't have to run that hard anymore. But my drive is still there. I want to put more money back in the bank, especially after I bought $4,600 in tires and Centromatics. And then I want to go home, but I want to build my business so I can go home and let y'all drive these trucks. I'm not old yet, but I want that mailbox money. So this is long enough. I'm going to go home. I got 3 hours of driving, and then I'm off for a week. So you may or may not see anything pop up. I might get on the live if I'm bored and the wife's tired of me jawing her. So until the next time, God bless everybody. Keep it upright in between the lines.